Hey guys, it's Katie. So today I thought that I would talk to you a little bit about why liquids are your friend. I spoke to this a little bit in another video. Maybe it was my June favorites. I don't know. But I wanted to kind of sit down with you guys and show you what liquid products I am loving for my base. That means foundation, primer, highlighter, bronzer, and blush, and yes, they are all liquid. Now, you would think that somebody like me who has oily skin would want to stay as far away from liquid products as possible because some may think that they do slip and slide all over your face, especially if you have more oily skin. But I have found that to not be true, especially with new technology. Makeup companies are really able to hone in on liquid products that actually will stand the test of time. And so these are the products that I have been using, and the reason why I prefer to use liquid products recently over powder is one, I feel like it's more lightweight for summertime, and two, I feel like it doesn't emphasize the texture that I have on my skin. I do have enlarged pores right in here and then a lot of texture right along my cheeks, and if I'm going to highlight, if I'm going to use like a blush with any sort of shimmer or anything like that, sheen, then that texture is going to show. But I find with using liquid products, it doesn't show as much as it does with powder products. So if you want to see how I am minimizing the texture on my face by using liquids, let's get going. Hey guys, so I'm going to be starting with this Blur primer. This is from YSL Beauty, and if you can see really closely, it's this like clear dimethicone based or silicone based primer, and then it has these little like gold flecks in it, but the glitter flecks don't actually transfer onto your face. I don't know, it's magic, they just kind of disappear. So with this primer, less is more, especially if you have oily skin. So I literally just do like that for pretty much my entire face. Now I did already go in and moisturize. I used the I'm just gonna kind of press this into my biggest pore areas. I did already moisturize with the Belief Aqua Bomb. Put a little bit in the center. I never do my eyebrows first, so this is a bit of a struggle. And so I'm just kind of like trying to push this in. And then I do let this set for a few minutes before I go in with my foundation, just so that it really gives in a minute to set so that I'm not putting something else slippery on top of something that's already slippery, and then my foundation would just be sliding all over the place. With these liquid products, if you have enlarged pores, even if you have oily skin, they are your friend. I cannot stress that enough because I have enlarged pores and I also have a little bit of texture right here because of those enlarged pores. And so if I use anything that's like glowy, like a highlighter in those areas, it really just does not look good because it will kind of sink into those pores, and then it's almost like my pores are being highlighted, which no one really wants that. And so I just prefer to use liquid products as of late, and I just feel like they're really working for me. So even if you are nervous about using liquid products, I promise you there is a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, it looks so much better on the skin than any other powder products that I have tried, especially with highlighters, blushes, anything in this cheek area where people tend to have enlarged pores. And so today I'm going to be using the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric. This is a long wear high cover foundation. I really like this. At first I was kind of like meh about it, but I started using it with a brush, and I prefer it with a brush much more than with a beauty blender. I will pour a little bit on a palette, go through and blend it into my face with a brush, and then just kind of pounce a beauty blender on top of it just to get in any excess off. And I am going to be using this Marc Jacobs brush. This is, I'm showing it upside down. This is called the Shape brush. I think it's meant to be like a contour brush, but I prefer using it as a foundation brush. And this color is actually a little bit light for me right now because of summer tanning, but it's okay. We can still work with it. I'm just going to go in with a damp beauty blender and just kind of pounce this on my face just to get off any excess, so that it doesn't look cakey. Well, you can see the coverage that it does provide. It definitely covers up my redness, and it just kind of gives like a nice kind of like soft focus effect to the skin, so I really like it, especially with a brush. I've been really liking this NARS concealer, and I actually ordered or purchased a darker color just because the other one was way too light for me. And I know this isn't really like a liquid, but it's the one that I'm going to use today just simply because it's the one that matches the best. And so what I've actually been doing lately, and this is not how I started using this concealer, is I actually just dab my beauty blender in there just to get like the tiniest amount on the edge, and then I will go in and blend it out. Again, you saw how little I used on the tip of the sponge. I really just think with concealer overall, less is more. I'm not a huge fan anymore of doing like the triangle thing and putting all that concealer under my eyes, because that's when my concealer creases the quickest. Okay, so now concealer is done. Hopefully my under eyes look a lot brighter now. And now what I'm going to do is go in with one of my favorites. This is the Giorgio Armani Liquid Summer Bronzer. I have the color 100. This is... just watch. I hope it looks as good on camera as it does in real life, because I love this stuff. It's amazing. Again, for this, what I'm going to do is take my damp beauty blender, and I'm going to take the pointy side again, and I'm just going to kind of push this onto the areas of my face where I want to look more bronzy. And you can see how, I mean, I hope you can see how much it just melts into the skin. You can't really see where it starts and where it ends. There's no huge lines of demarcation. That's partially because it's liquid, partially because it is being applied with a beauty blender. And the forehead. And now I'm going to take the butt of the blender and just blend it out a little bit and smooth out any edges. And now we are a little bit bronzier. So you can see right here, like when I turn my face, you can see a little bit of bronze, but it's not like a contour. You can't see like a harsh line right here. It just kind of looks natural, and so that's kind of what I'm going for. So liquid highlighters might scare people because they think, oh, it's going to be messy, it's going to get all over the place, how do I blend it out, it's going to mess up my foundation. That really isn't the case. I have 3 liquid highlighters that I switch off a lot. One of them is the one that I'm going to use today. These are the Cover FX, what are these even called? Like, I've used mine so much that the writing isn't even on the package. Custom Enhancer Drops. This is in the color Sunlight. I also love the Marc Jacobs Dewdrops, which are these ones right here. These are really nice too. And then I also love the Becca liquid highlighters. Those are great as well. Becca has great colors for their highlighters, but I've noticed over time that their highlighters can just look very... they make my skin look very textured, and so I prefer their liquid forms versus their powder forms now. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to use my trusty little palette here, and I'm going to take a tiny bit of this highlighter. I'm going to pour some right here. You need like the tiniest amount, like that's probably too much. I'm going to take the pointy side of the blender again, just because it is more precise. I'm just going to dip it in like so, and then take off some of that excess, so you just have the tiny bit on the Beauty Blender. The Beauty Blender really helps to kind of, what's the word? Make it not so intense, kind of like dilute the intensity of that highlighter a little bit, so that way you can start low and then build it up if you really want to. Now for the tip of my nose, I don't like to blend a ton because the tip of my nose is where the foundation tends to come off the quickest, so I literally just dab and then I leave it alone. And we're done. And then really I just take, again, the bottom of the Beauty Blender and just make sure that it's all blended out. But you can see we still have a pretty intense glowy highlight going on, so. Now I'm going to go in with a liquid blush, and this is a newer product for me, but I've been loving it. This is the NARS Liquid Blush in the color Orgasm. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the color Orgasm in the powder form, but this one actually looks a little bit different. It's not quite as glittery. Well, it's not glittery at all, but you know what I mean. With Orgasm, it definitely has that like gold glitter packed inside of the powder form. With this one, I don't really find that at all. And it does have a nice little pump, as you can see right here. And so again, I'm going to use my trusty little palette, which is dirty now. We have bronzer, we have highlight, we got a lot of stuff going on this palette. But I'm just going to take, for this, that's enough. Like, do you see how little I used? And you definitely want to shake it up. I didn't shake it up on camera, but I did in real life. I'm just going to dab the bottom of my beauty blender in there, and you will just have a little tiny dot like that. And then I'm just going to start on the apples of my cheeks and then blend it back. And so now we have all of our liquids applied to our face. We have liquid foundation, we have concealer, we have bronzer, highlighter, and blush, all liquids, and my primer. And they're all applied to the face. And so I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so that way you can really see the texture of my skin. And I'm sure that you can see that I have texture on my skin, but it's not being emphasized by these products. If I were to put a metallic highlighter in this area right here, you would just see a ton of texture. But because of the formulation of these liquid products, it just really minimizes that, but still gives you the glow that you like. And you may see that I still have pores, enlarged pores, and I still have texture in this area, but it's just not as emphasized as it would be if I were wearing powder products in that area, especially a metallic highlight or any sort of blush that has a sheen to it, or bronzer that has any kind of sheen to it. So I'm loving these liquid products. I do have oily skin, so I do have to go in and set my face. I'm going to set my face with a little bit of this Cover FX, what is this? The Perfect Setting Powder. Now I'm just going to go in, because I'm tanner now, this color is a little light for me, but that's okay. I'm going to go in with a little bit of this Cover FX Mattifying Setting Spray. This is okay. It's not my favorite, but... So I decided to change up the lip color. I'm actually going to try this from Lancome. It is one of their new matte juicy shakers, or matte shakers. I never tried their juicy shakers, the other version, but I'm excited to try this one. This is in the color Yummy Pink, so this is going to take this look up a notch. So I guess you just want to shake these up, and let's swatch it first. Oh my! The color is very intense, as you can see right here, but it does have like a little bit of sheerness to it, so I feel like when it goes on the lips, it's going to look like you just ate a popsicle. I love those kind of colors for the summer. I'm using my finger to kind of shear it out a little bit, and you can see how it just kind of gives that like stain to the lips. I'm really excited to try this out. Shake, shake, shake. Oh wow. I like that. So it feels very wet. Like, it is very liquidy. So because I have smaller lips, this applicator isn't the easiest because it is quite a chunky little applicator here. So I think the best thing to do, because the applicator is a little chunky, is just to apply a little bit to your lips and then just blend it out with your finger. And it is obviously matte, as you can see, but it doesn't feel drying at all. Like, it's a super thin formula, which I like because those don't tend to get super thick and like crack on your lips. And you can still see my lips underneath, which I kind of like that because it is very lightweight. I really like it, so I would highly recommend. And this color is like, for summertime, to die for. Okay, so as you can see, here's my face using all liquid products. That is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some of this information useful. I will have all of the products listed down below for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!